Laser FM Worldwide, bringing you the best in old school, jungle, hardcore, drum and bass, and electronic. www.laserfmworldwide.com.
Everyone, it's Friday night, it's 6 o'clock in the lovely UK, and that means just one thing: it is time for Below Ground on Laser FM Worldwide. Until 8 o'clock, I'll be bringing you the best in underground electronic music. Stay tuned. Well, do stay tuned. I'm gonna see who's been taking over DJ Realm tonight. If you can't find anyone, I'll stick some music on for him. But we want to warm your weekend up with a bit of everything. DJ Realm usually has a lot up his sleeve, but he won't be hosting tonight, unfortunately. Either way, we'll be warming up your weekend as best we can. We learned the devastating news that Andrew Weatherall, one of the UK's most respected proponents of underground music, passed away at the age of 56. He was known as a gifted producer, and he produced Primal Scream's iconic Screamadelica. He documented the explosion of acid house and free parties during the late 80s, and in the fanzine that he founded and wrote most of the articles in, ⴡᴜⴜ. He did so much more than that. He was a humble man and just wanted to share music, and an outpouring of grief has come from across the electronic music community, all with positive memories that resonate from his music and performances. Tonight I will be dedicating some time to his legacy. We'll be touching on some of his projects, listening to past interviews, and at the end of the show, the last 15 minutes will be wrapped up with a clip of a 1993 Hacienda mix that he did. Track that you heard, that was DJ Dextro, Sidewell, the Super Strobe remix, and you're currently listening to Edward Aᴜᴜ, the old school. It's Resurrection remix, the 2020 remix of Resurrection. Don't go anywhere. At 7 o'clock I have an exclusive mix, but not before an exclusive interview with Preston DJ Andy Crabtree. It is spot on. All vinyl, as he likes it. Don't go anywhere. Shout out tonight to everyone that's joined in already. Got a few guests in the room, along with Toxic T, Tribal Nick. Got Slim D07 and Techno Crab. massive hello to Stu.0 and everyone else. Once again, this is the 2020 remix of Resurrection. Smashing it in the Beatport charts. Howler, you've joined us just in time. Playing now, this is Air Apocalypse from Howler. This track is from the recently released Black EP on Subwoofer Records. He's been in the game for a while, since around 97, battering stages with live techno. Had some success with a bit of house production on BBC Introduced him, but has since given himself back to the dark side, as he puts it. The EP is available on Beatport, along with the track Stommer. It's worth it. Get it, guys. It is a must-have in the collection. away this week into the music that I possess. And this week is a little bit evil for the first bit of the show. Anyway, would you not be scared? The journey will be a good one. Stay tuned. I'm with you until 8 o'clock. Realm does not have his show tonight, but I will see what I can do and maybe just keep the music flowing for a little bit longer. Love a bit of perk. I do anyway. Look what your love has done to me. It's up there in the Beatport charts at the moment. If you want to grab it, grab it. Like I said, the music's a little bit evil this week. For the first bit, I thought I'd whack 'em out. And perk will also be at this year's Bangface Festival in Southport, Pontins. I will be touching on that, and there is rumours going round. Well, I'm creating the rumour that I might be doing the show on the Friday live from Bangface, as long as there's time for me to get down to the opening ceremony, which I think starts at 9, so we'll see how that goes.
drag, force, give, live, work, look, what your love has done to me.
Very well named tune, Acid Head, and this is from Thomas P. Heckerman. This is up there in the charts at the moment as well, bringing you fresh tracks where I can. Big shout out to everyone who's joined us in the chat room tonight. A few guests, got Techno Crab, Paolo, 2.0 and Tribal Nick are around somewhere, but they've disappeared off my screen. I'm sure they will appear at some point. And to everyone else who's listening via any other platform that we provide. Oh, Toxic Tea, he's just popped up. Hello. Right. So, I said to you I was going to do a bit of a tribute this week to the late Andrew Weatherall, and I shall be doing that in the next few minutes.
Laser FM Worldwide, bringing you the best in old school, jungle, hardcore, drum and bass, and electronic. www.laserfmworldwide.com.
Just what is it that you want to do?
Well, we want to be free. We want to be free to do what we want to do. And we want to get loaded. And we want to have a good time. And that's what we're going to do.
Well, when, baby? Let's go.
We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a party.
Just after 6:30 here in the UK, and the next half an hour is usually Artist of the Week time. Well, this is Artist of the Week. We pay tribute tonight to a pioneer of underground, Andrew Weatherall. And while playing, firstly, is one of the most iconic tracks that he's mixed from the Screamadelic album from Primal Scream. It's Loaded. As most know, Andrew Weatherall, he is best known for producing the album which this track was off, Screamadelica, but he's done so much more. Like I said, the next half an hour, it will be all about him, and I think the last 15 minutes of the show to wrap up we're going to play a Hacienda mix that he did in 1993. I have a few clips from interviews he's done, and we'll be zoning in to some of his projects.
Just what is it that you want to do?
I'm gonna get deep down, I said, I'm gonna get deep down. Woo, hey!
We want to be free to do what we want to do. Away, baby, let's go.
Massive shout out to everyone that's listening to Below Ground this evening on Laser FM Worldwide. I know Tracy's listening. So hello Tracy.
We want to be free.
Also we've got Toxic Tea, Techno Crab and Howler in the chat room, along with a few guests this evening. And then hello to everyone, silent listeners, on the other platforms that are accommodated for this station. Next, I'm going to play you a clip of an interview Andrew Weatherall did quite a while ago. Just talking about him, what he was doing at that time.
We want to be free to do what we want to do.
Yes, stay locked.
Just what is it that you want to do?
We want to get loaded, and we want to have a good time.
So if there's elements of technology that I think I will enjoy or will be useful to me in my work, then I'll get involved with them. But I just enjoy. I'm really lucky I can make these statements because I live 5 minutes walk from Rough Trade East and a 10-minute tube ride to the West End and its many record shops. You know, so I can make sweeping statements like, oh, I'd rather have the search. But that's because sometimes my search is at the end of the road. But, if I lived somewhere in the suburbs or on another continent, then yeah, obviously it's very handy. I'm just, this is a very, it's just my private taste because I happen to be in a kind of a lucky position, really. you're basically got direct contact to everything there's ever been in the world ever.
Yeah.
In something that size. Yeah. That it can be a bit of a distraction for people.
Here we go.
So tonight we are celebrating the life of the late Andrew Weatherall. This is one of his remixes he did of My Bloody Valentine's track of the Glider EP. It's pretty old, but it's good. The celebrated DJ, producer and journalist, he has been dubbed the king of underground music. everyone from Errol Alkan and Optimo to James Lavelle was pretty much in debt to Andrew Weatherall, not necessarily in terms of aesthetics, but defo in terms of stance. The legendary producer, remixer and tastemaker was after all the first proper punk DJ. And this is why the news that Weatherall was going to deliver a mix from Ministry of Sound's Masterpiece series was received with suspicious glances by some. It was a risky move, and remains reserved to a lucky few, but he avoided all possible pitfalls and handed over the most coherent commercial mix of his long, sometimes puzzling, but always fascinating career. I've managed to get some audio to hear what he thought about it at the time. That was in 2012. Resident advisor reported that on the technical side of things, the overall mix was seamless and that there was an imposing timelessness to the masterpiece, even though it was pretty much at the time as now as it got.
I did consider it for a bit, but basically the guy that asked me to do it, a guy called Gavin Fraser, I'd worked with him before, and he's a real music head, and he was brought in, you know, the one before me was Giles Peterson, the one before that was François Kevorkian. They wouldn't have done it for Ministry of Sound if it hadn't been for Gavin. He was just a good guy, music guy, that he was good, so good to work with that you'd overlook the fact. I overlooked the fact that it was Ministry of Sound. I thought I'd get more enjoyment out of working with him than grief out of working with Ministry of Sound, and I just thought it was a good way. There's a lot of great music being made at that sort of tempo that we're playing, that more kind of mid-tempo stuff, and it's not getting the airtime. I just thought that would be a good commercial outlet. It ended up being an undertaking, but the actual pre-production of it, I sat down with Sean Johnson, who I do Love from Outer Space with, and we wrote out a list of kind of 45, 50 records. You give that to Ministry of Sound, that gets whittled down for various reasons to 35 or 40, and then you start kind of putting the mix together and working out what works and what doesn't, so then you lose a few more tracks. The real work was because I did it in here, I did it live, I didn't use a computer at any stage, and it became a bit of a running joke by the chaps looking through the glass there to see my frustration after having nearly completed one side, fuck up the last mix and have to start all over again. I could have taken it next door and kind of bolted it together, but I wanted it to capture a moment of doing it all perfectly. So it took me weeks and weeks and piles of discarded CDs to get it to that. There was a few that I realised at the time had vocal samples and samples in, which are always difficult to clear. Some were re-edits, which again are difficult because they're very shady sort of legal territory. There's a couple of people who said no, but I didn't ask their reasons. One of them was a Detroit artist that maybe didn't want to be associated with Ministry of Sound. I've got nothing against that. I didn't take it personally. It's my decision to operate briefly in that commercial area, and if you don't want to be involved, then that's no problem.
you were listening to one of the interviews that Andy Weatherall did in regards to the Ministry of Sound mix that he did. And like I say, Resident Advisor rated it. The mix was called Masterpiece. This track is an Andrew Weatherall remix of Toddler T's Watch Me Dance, which was featured on that CD and his mix. He did some amazing stuff, and you cannot fault the guy for his DJing, producing, like I said, all the articles that he wrote in the past. We're going to listen to this, and then I'm going to introduce you. If you've never heard of the two lone swordsmen before, you are going to now. But before that, let's have a listen to this. Like I said, Toddler T, Watch Me Dance, the Andrew Weatherall remix.
lucky position because I got 25 years of heritage, and it was pointing out to me that after 25 years, if you can't sell 300 records, then hand your P45 in, but in an encouraging way. So I just thought, I looked into the financials of it, and thought it was just a good way to get the music out there that's not going to break the bank, not going to make any money. I have very little hassle because I've got someone doing the production distribution, so I literally master the track, give it to someone else, and then just wait for the call to say when the records are being distributed by the same person. So it's it's a massive effort because it's a drop in an ocean, but it's not a great massive effort because I've got great tracks to choose from, and then people in offices doing all the work for me.
The last half an hour has been dedicated to the late pioneer in underground music, Andrew Weatherall. And this track, which is called Rotting Hill Carnival, is from one of the projects that he set up called Two Lone Swordsmen, which came about when Andrew Weatherall and Keith Tenniswood formed in the early 90s, 96 I believe, and they released material on the label Emissions Audio Output, which was run by Weatherall, and that was after he dissolved his Sabres of Paradise project and label. Two Lone Swordsmen have explored a variety of styles, from electro to post-punk to IDM. But the small operation was limited, and the duo's success was limited, and they signed up to Warp Records, which I believe has something to do with Radioactive Man, and that made them label mates with acts such as Square Pusher and Boards of Canada. In 2007, the Swordsmen released 2 albums, Wrong Meeting and Wrong Meeting 2, on Weatherall's own Rotters Golf Club label. I did say to you, this track is called, again, Rotting Hill Carnival. That was released on Warp Records in 2000. The album was called Tiny Reminders, and except for a few tracks of freeform ambience, it's pretty hard hitting for the guys. The beats are said to be less brittle, and though the catalogue of crazed effects is in full force, they're carried along by the forceful drum programming instead of acting on their own. Okay, so in the next minute or so, we're going to crack on with this week's guest mix from Andy Crabtree. But first, we'll have his exclusive interview that he did for me. We chatted on Wednesday, I think it was. Really good. Hope I've done Mr. Andy Weatherall some justice tonight by playing some of his sounds, letting you guys know what he did with his life, which was an extraordinary life. And I'm sure he'll be happy with all the achievements that he made musically throughout the years.
Laser FM Worldwide, bringing you the best in old school, jungle, hardcore, drum and bass, and electronic. www.laserfmworldwide.com.
Thank you for chatting to me, Andy. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. Keeping busy, trying to get on the decks when I can, looking after my family. Yeah, good.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and how it's all started with DJing for you.
Yeah, I've been probably interested in electronic music since I was 13 years old, maybe. I think I was probably old enough to find Key 103 somewhere, listen to Stu Allen's hardcore mixes. We used to tape them. It's when Walkmans were just kind of coming out and stuff, about 93, something like that. That's kind of where I first started getting into electronic music and stuff like that. And then you end up going into Willie Banjo's, Preston, picking up flyers and tape packs. I started clubbing when I was probably 20 years old. Me and a few mates, DJ Wilkes and people like that, partied all night and they were good times. And then I met Johnny Howlett, big shout out to Johnny, and we started going to the Orbit. And Johnny introduced us all to the Orbit and blew us all away, opened up our eyes. It was the place to be, and that's pretty much where we went for the next 3-4 years. There was just something special about that club. Johnny was DJing back then, and it was probably there or thereabouts where I thought, you know what, I want to be there, like showing the crowd my new tunes and all these mixes and stuff like that. And that's kind of where that I wanted to do it. Johnny kind of turned me on to the whole DJing thing. I ended up buying myself a set of 1210 turntables. Actually, I think I got some records off a friend. He was just giving them away. I think they were more like trance kind of records, Mario Picotto, stuff like that. And that's kind of where I cut my teeth. And then you progressed. I got a DJM 600 mixer after that. And yeah, I spent time going around to Johnny's house, mixing in his studio. And me and Wilkes spent a lot of time mixing as well. It was good to have a DJ partner and someone you can bounce off and learn from and watch their skills and kind of try and progress your own in a way. Sometimes I used to go to Johnny's, we'd take my turntables and my mixer, set up 4 decks, 2 mixers. Yeah, it was all good. It was, you know, and it was keeping it fun. And back in the day then it was all just vinyl really. Johnny had an 808, but it was all just vinyl. You know, you wanted someone to play. You wanted someone to show your tunes and show what you've learned and what you can do. And there was nowhere really in Preston to do that. Me and Wilkes had DJ'd at a few parties, people's birthdays, stuff like that, just in pubs, set up all our speakers, turntables, went the full hog. You know, one day we decided that enough was enough. We wanted to do it properly. We went round a few pubs around Preston City Centre, found a good, decent venue, hired that out, and then we had to think about a name for a club night, which then turned into Trauma. Got quite successful at one point. We had Billy Nappi and Luke later on, and you know, and we always just had fun. Yeah, I need to say a little bit of something about Paul Cotton, because he was quite instrumental really in this whole Preston electronic sort of scene. And back when I first got my turntables and stuff, Action Records was the place to go to get your records in Preston. Paul worked there, so as you went in, you'd go in and say, you'd give you a $5 for rent of the needle on the turntable, and you'd ask Paul, well, in my case, what are the hardest techno records you've got? You know, that's where we all started buying proper music, and it was every Saturday morning, me and Wilkes would go down, spend all the money we got there on record. Paul Cotton's been there all the way through the Trauma days, and all the way through the Preston scene in one way or another. So massive respect.
Are there any DJs or producers that you find particularly inspiring and have a lot of respect for?
One person who always impressed me, and I spent hours probably standing just watching him, watching his craft, watching his skills, was Dave Clark. He was awesome. He was the man. He was the person that everybody wanted to see. All DJs wanted to emulate him, and he had the skills. And even when I watched him, and like I said, I've watched him like a hawk. I've tried to emulate, like I said, some of his skills, but he's just a natural at his craft. And even little mistakes, or what I would perceive to be mistakes, he turns them into part of his mix. And his timing's impeccable, his mixes are good, his music's good. Yeah, not a bad word to say. Yeah, some of the best nights of my life were watching Dave Clark. One of the most magical times of my life was at Creamfields. Dave Clark playing in the Big Ten. Yeah, I was just in awe at all these people who he controlled through his music. It was just immense. Billy Nasty, Todd Hawks, back in the old days, and the late Andy Weatherall. Obviously, I've seen him at Orbit and stuff, and yeah, he was great too. Good vibes. And someone just a little bit different than techno and electronica is DJ Yoda. I think as you get a bit older, your taste change a bit and stuff, and I think it's good to be kind of eclectic and like other genres of music, and DJ Yoda for me has been there.
How has the progression in technology impacted you as a DJ over the years since you've started mixing?
I've always been a die-hard vinyl guy, 1210s mixer. That's always been my thing, and I think as time goes on, it limits me a little bit. I've had to turn some gigs down and stuff because they want you to bring your mixer and your turntables and stuff, and it's not always easy to take all your equipment down. So it's impacted me in a slightly negative way. I guess you could call it negative way, because I haven't kept up with the times. But I just love vinyl, I love turntables. I've decided recently that I need to try and keep up with everybody else, and I've recently bought Tractor, got myself a laptop, so I'm just building up my Tractor tunes library. So hopefully in the future I'll be embracing it a little bit more. I've always been someone who likes the feel of vinyl, and I've got used to the feel of vinyl, so I'd never go down the probably controller route or using any kind of sync button or anything like that. That's good. If it aids you and frees you up time to do other things with your mix, then I think that's great. So, I will embrace technology, but I'll always try and keep that sort of vinyl live feel to it, if that makes sense.
Is there a single event that's been particularly memorable for you as a DJ or as an attendee?
My, DJ career, in inverted commas you could call it, was playing at 53 Degrees. Me and Wilkes organised a couple of trauma nights there, and that was playing on like a bigger stage than just the smaller kind of clubs, and having some big name international DJs, like I said, Billy Nasty and Luke Slater there and stuff. As far as playing goes, that's probably one of my highlights. Yeah, an attendee, like I've said before about the Orbit in Morley, Leeds, they were the happiest times of my life ever. Orbit almost felt alive when you was there. I used to go in, and it was like just the lights, the sound system, the way the club was laid out. It was all encompassing. It just felt like it was home, really. It was something special. There was just something special about that club. It had the X factor, I guess you call it.
Is there one track that never gets old for you, no matter how many times you hear it?
That's a tough one. I was thinking about that today. One tune for me that's quite special is Vitalik La Rock. It takes me back to seeing Dave Clark at Creamfields in the Big Ten, and he played it then, and it just blew me away. DJ Rush, Get On Up. That's an amazing track. I've got a few different versions of it that I still like playing today, and that takes me back to the Orbit days too.
Is there any advice that you can give to aspiring DJs out there?
Try and make what you are doing fun, because the end of the day, you're probably going to be stood there in your bedroom or wherever behind a set of turntables or whatever you choose to use. And you're going to be stood there for hours, and you're going to be involved for hours, and it takes a lot less time these days with technology to learn the craft and try and play music that you are interested in, that you like. Don't try and be somebody that tries to play up to a crowd because you want to be famous or rich. Try and do it because of the love of the music, because you want to do it. And you know what? And that makes it all a lot easier. Try and experiment as well. Try and be a bit diverse. Play different kinds of music, whatever interests you, and try and mix different genres of music together and try and come up with something new. Learn from your peers, learn from other DJs, producers, club nights when you go out, watch the DJs, try and learn a few tricks and tips. But one important thing for me learning was having a DJ partner. Like I said, I had DJ Wilkes, DJ partner for years, Johnny Hour and Paul Cotton. We were all a tight-knit group. And I think it does help having someone to bounce off against. That's probably what helped me along the way is having that little bit of competition. And don't give up, keep going, even if you find your mixes aren't going great or whatever, just keep plugging away.
What are your plans for the weekend? Is there anything going on that we should know about?
I don't know whether there's anything you guys should know about, but it's my youngest daughter's birthday, so I'll probably be playing with unicorns and having tea parties and sneaking off for the odd techno mix in my music room when I can get there. Just living life, being a dad, trying to do something that I love in my spare time, DJ, just being there for everyone who I need to be there for, Just a few little shout-outs that I need to say. Obviously, I mentioned these guys a few times through the interview and stuff. Wilkes, DJ Wilkes, Johnny Hour and Paul Cotton, just big shout-out to you guys and big respect for pushing me along. And also, just for being there as mates, and that's cool. And I just want to say happy birthday to my daughter Olivia, and happy birthday to Emily for last week, and for my wife Donna for obviously letting me sneak off to my music room whenever I needed to, and supporting me over these years.
That was Andy Crabtree with an exclusive interview for us tonight. I've got to say as well, Wilkes and Howlett, I have massive respect for as well, and Paul Cotton. I'll let you sit back and I'll let you have a listen to this mix. Before I do trot off for a bit, I'm just going to give a big shout out to everyone who's listening. Got Slim D07, Tribal Nick, Techno Crab, that is Andy Crabtree, Howlett, we've got Mel in the chat room, and Wilkes. 3.0 is lingering somewhere. And then hello to all the listeners listening on the other apps tonight. This is Andy Crabtree's mix, guest mix. Enjoy. You are listening to the sounds of Andy Crabtree on Below Ground on Laser FM Worldwide. Taking you through just under half an hour. Big shout out to everyone in the chat room tonight. Strider Boss has joined us. Big hello to you. Howler, Mel, Wilkes, Slim D, Techno Crab. We've got a few guests involved. Also to the silent listeners that might be in the tuned in that, or on the other online platforms we have. I'm going to be playing you, Tribal Nick as well, hello. I'm going to be playing you a mix from the late Andy Weatherall after this, from the Hacienda days in 1993. Stay tuned for that. DJ Realm unfortunately can't do his show tonight, but I will keep the tunes flowing where I can. You are listening to a little radio show called Below Ground on a station called Laser FM Worldwide, and you're currently listening to the sounds of Andy Crabtree. DJ Realm, he can't do his show tonight, so I'm going to put the full Andrew Weatherall mix from the Hacienda in 1993 on from about 8:15, and I'm just going to let it run through, and it's about an hour and a half long, so I'll keep you going for a bit. So sit back, relax, warming up your weekend on a Friday night. I'm Jaded. Thank you for listening. Good evening, everyone. Hope you are all doing fine and dandy this evening. You're currently listening to the sound of Andy Crabtree on Below Ground on Laser FM Worldwide. It's gone down an absolute storm tonight. What I'm going to do tonight, because DJ Realm can't be in this evening, unfortunately. I was going to play a few minutes of an Andy Weatherall mix, but now it seems that you might get the full length. So, an hour and a half of a Hacienda mix from Andy Weatherall in 1993. I'm going to stream that for you. And then if someone pipes up, there might be someone else to take over, but I'm not too sure as of yet. I will keep you informed. But yeah, thank you to Andy for providing us with this mix tonight. It's been absolutely amazing. Hope you've all enjoyed it. I definitely have.
bounce that booty, 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 bounce that booty all around, 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 bounce that booty all around.
Laser FM Worldwide, bringing you the best in old school, jungle, hardcore, drum and bass, and electronic. www.laserfmworldwide.com